The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
I call the March 23rd special meeting, 4 p.m. meeting of North Carolina Local Government Commission to order. Cindy, I'll ask you to call the roll to determine the quorum.
Mr. Auditor Wood. Here. Person. Secretary Marshall or Mr. Toole.
Here.
Here.
Oh, okay, thank you, Mr. Toole. Secretary Kenny. There you are.
Here. Here.
Virtually.
We're also doing an audio check.
Mr. Burns.
Here.
Here.
Hello. Okay, virtually. Ms. Harvey.
Here.
Here. Okay, thank you. And is Ms. Hoffman absent? Okay, Ms. Hoffman is absent. Mr. Philbeck. Okay, is he muted? Are you?
Can't hear you. Go back.
I am here.
I'm here.
There you go. Thank you, sir, and Treasurer Caldwell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Do you have any housekeeping?
Oh, wait, did I skip Mr. Butler? Sorry, I skipped Mr. Butler by accident.
Mr. Butler?
Sandra?
Here.
Here.
Thank you.
Is there any meeting procedures, housekeeping items?
No, nothing's different.
Call the roll, please.
Okay, so Sharon Edmondson, Secretary Susan Cohen, here, and Cindy Aiken, I'm here, Debbie Tomasko, and Ben Garner, General Counsel. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Okay, if you'll stand and join us for our pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance. to the
One
flag
flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So will you lead us in our salute to the flag?
I salute the flag of North Carolina and pledge to the Old North State love, loyalty,
and faith. Good job. Can y'all hear us?
We hear you, but we can't see you. And when we speak, we get an echo.
Sorry, thank you. Members, we have our
Now I
conflict.
can see you.
We have our conflict of interest statement. Please take a moment to review the agenda. Does anyone have an actual potential or appearance of a conflict regarding the matters of course? Hearing none, I'll turn the meeting over to Sharon to present a resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. We have a resolution before you to appoint 2 more deputy finance officers and account signatories for the town of Spring Lake. This was necessitated by the fact that the interim manager was terminated by the town, and she was one of the deputy finance officers, one of the signatories of the town. So we are retaining David Irwin of our staff as the finance officer, discharging Samantha Willenweber as deputy finance officer, and appointing Tiffany Anderson and Susan McCullen, both of our staff, as deputy finance officers, and also as account signatories. We are discharging account signatories Samantha Willenweber, former Mayor Larry Dobbins, former Mayor Bertine Tour Aziz. We also are retaining Chris Banks, the town's official.
That's our resolution. Members, we will need a vote to approve this staff's recommendation regarding this change at Spring Lake. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion second being made. Any further discussion? Okay, with that, clerk, call the roll.
All right, that was Wood and second Butler. Mr. Toole.
Aye.
Secretary Penny.
Aye.
Mr. Burns.
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Harvey.
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Philbeck.
Aye.
Thank you, Treasurer Fuller.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Uh, We'll now, before we close, ask any board members. Obviously, since we met last, we have received the altered report regarding Spring Lake. And ask any board members if they'd like to make any comments before we move to adjourn. Alderman.
I would. So we met with the town of Spring Lake some weeks ago and presented them with the findings. The path that was taken by the town clerk, our town administrator, accounting technician / interim finance officer / finance officer, money that was missing out of the Department of Revenue, their Department of Revenue, the misuse of the vehicles, board minutes not being kept either in closed session or some of the regular sessions. So we presented all of these to them and walked them through, had lots of discussion, but in the end, we gave them a letter as well as direction by me personally. So what we're looking for in the response is required by the state auditor's office, the response to address, number one, whether or not you agree with the finding. And of course, if there was any disagreement, we always work those out before we print. You agree with the finding. What do you plan to do about the findings? What do you plan to do to fix things? When do you plan to have them done by? And who can, council members, board of aldermen, or the town citizens, who they will hold accountable, not by name, but by position. And then I also spoke to the fact that when the state auditor's office receives a response from whether it's an investigation or an audit, and it is misleading, or it is not clear, or it's got actually incorrect information in it, we will respond to that and clear up for the readers where the misleading information is misleading or incorrect or whatever, or if we provide clarity. We also, in accordance with, in that meeting that day, the decision was made. Now, the general counsel kept insisting that he be the one to put the response, to deliver the response, to put it together. And we kept bringing him back to the fact that these are accounting issues that needed to be fixed. And the town manager, the interim town manager at the time, would be settled that she would write the findings because she was an integral part of the investigation. The LGC was in agreement that that's the way that should happen. And then it was decided that the town manager would write the response, the LGC would approve it, and I offered to take a look at it because the mayor wanted to avoid a response to the response. Again, it doesn't look good on the organization that we investigate when I have to respond and say, your response is misleading, your response doesn't have accuracies in it, your response is not what we asked for. So the LGC received the response. I was sent a copy of the response. It was exactly what the state auditor's office asked for. It was very detailed. This is what we have done since these findings were found out. This is what we will do moving forward to make sure we get this problem so that it never happens again. And here's the date by which we will do it. And then here is the position that would be responsible for it. Somewhere through all this, somebody gets involved and the council members decide that they want the attorney to put together another response. So now I'm looking at a Facebook post by one of the aldermen that has gone out to all the citizens. The LGC's involvement in the town is getting more and more difficult because the aldermen are misrepresenting what actually went on. And it needs to be brought to the attention of the council, the commissioners here, because of where this may be headed. So the alderman is saying that somehow against the board's authority, an unapproved first draft made it out of their hands into the state auditor's hands. And I just want to say that it was not leaked. It was always intended to come to us to have a look at once the LGC had taken a look at it. Again, the mayor was trying to avoid a response to their response. The other side of it is, had I never seen their first response done by their interim city manager, we would have rejected their response that we finally got. It did not meet the criteria that was so clearly laid out to the town that it should have the details. I didn't tell them what details were supposed to be in there. I just said, we need to see what corrective actions you're going to take. We need to see who's going to be responsible for it, and we need to see by what date it's going to be done. In the response that we ended up with, and you can go and read it for yourself, it said things like a more robust bank reconciliation. I would love for somebody to explain to me what a robust bank reconciliation looks like. What we needed to see was bank reconciliations were going to be done monthly. They were going to be reconciled back to the books for that month, and that somebody, and that we're going to be timely and accurate, and then that somebody outside of the financial division was making sure that this was getting done. But to say we're doing robust bank reconciliations, that is an example of what is in the response. In the discussion, in this Facebook posting, they're saying that what we, State Auditor's Office, ended up publishing was a hybrid between what the council, general counsel, and the board wanted to do and the first response that we received. That is absolutely not true. If you look at the two responses, that is not a hybrid that we ended up in the report. What we plan to do in the future is so vague. The citizens, nor this commission, nor the LGC staff can monitor what's going to be done in the future to ensure that this missing money in hundreds of thousands of dollars never happens again. The response gives nobody anything that can be monitored or followed. Again, this guy, this alderman is saying that they wanted to take out unenforceable dates. Again, this was your response. When can you get this done? When do you expect you to get it done? What can the citizens count on? The State Auditor's Office doesn't have the resources to follow up on every audit, every investigation we do. So we made it a requirement to help the General Assembly, the governor, agency heads, and town leaders be able to see what the plan is and how it can be monitored. That is our requirement across the board. This alderman also says that he believes that it's a true statement that the State Auditor's Office doesn't do a lot of responses to the response. They're exactly right, because most of the responses are conforming and are not misleading, and so we don't have to respond to their response. They also say that that the LGC was present at every meeting that was dealing with the response. That may be a true statement, but I want to say here and now that when the final response was presented, the LGC staff was present, and they adamantly stated that that response did not fit what the State Auditor's Office asked for. So I want to go on record, I want to be public, I want to let the citizens of Spring Lake understand that what's going on there is just more divisiveness. The situation there is no better today than it was a year ago, and that people need to come together and understand that there is no maliciousness on the part of the state auditor or the treasurer or the treasurer's staff. They're just simply trying to get the city, the town back on its feet, and there is no plan published to show the citizens of Spring Lake or this commission or the staff of the LGC a plan that can be followed and can be monitored. There is no plan in place. That response did not demonstrate one. So I want to go on record today, call this alderman out. He has got a lot of misleading information in his Facebook post. He needs to take it down, because all he is doing is confusing the citizens, causing more divisiveness, and he's not letting the LGC get in there and do their job, and that is to bring
this town financially back on its feet. Thank you, Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you, Alderman Wood. Any other comments from board members regarding what you just heard, or the resolution today, or the audit that came out last week regarding the issue around Spring Lake? All right, hearing none, Sharon, you have enough.
Yes, we received just a little while ago a written notice from the town attorney addressed to the mayor, copied to us, terminating his agreement with the town no later than 30 days from today. He has offered to step back later if the town's in agreement with that. LGC staff will work with the town board and staff to identify new legal representation.
I have some questions.
Alderman Wood.
So, as best as anybody can tell, when the town read our response to their response and the LGC's response to their response, sometime that day, they walked the interim town manager out of the building. I just want to ask the question, is there anybody there? It's my understanding they didn't know who the CIO was. The town manager being escorted out of the building, and she still has all rights to bank accounts. She still had check signing opportunities. She had all of the above. And so they are terminating her without really covering and make sure that the town is functionable. Has all that been fixed? Is that what this resolution does? And has all that been fixed? And then I understand the payroll is due this week. Their decisions does not necessarily should not create an emergency for the LGC staff. Are y'all able to fix and step in where they have been short-sighted in letting the interim town manager go?
I'm sorry. My name is Susan McCullen. I'm the director of fiscal management. My staff is David Irwin, who works for me, is the finance officer for Freeman at this group. After the interim town manager was walked out last week, David and I went down there the very next day, met her and the mayor at the bank, and redid the bank cards at that. After this change that we just made this afternoon, we're going back tomorrow, and we'll change the bank cards again to add the 2 additional deputy efforts. So we are.
Are you able to step in and get the payroll done? I mean, are you able to step in quickly and fix?
They have staff that are that are able to get payroll done, and there are contractors that can do the regular AP. We are signing the checks and approving all those expenditures. So we'll be at that up and down the road, so we'll make sure that they get their payments.
Fantastic. Thank you. And thank you for pivoting on such short notice to make sure the town keeps running.
This is the treasurer, based on what the auditor just asked and the abruptness of that departure. When will we be notified this person is no longer in official capacity as the building? And will the same effort be put forward preserving the documents?
Within your original counsel, the expectation is that the town attorney who's terminating services will follow professional standards in documents and find documents over to the LGC staff if needed, and also to subsequent town attorney employment. So certainly professional standards related to client records, we will do our best to make sure that those are developed. And as far as any confirmation, the town, there's a 30-day notice period provided in the agreement that the town attorney has with the town. the town can consent to less than that. It's not an iron, it's within the agreement, so it's no ironclad, has to be 30 days. Perhaps from staff perspective, ending at the end of a month, since that's what invoices should run, might be the easiest thing to do. But that's, we want to be very careful that we don't overstep our role and between the town.
So when will we be notified that this person is no longer the town attorney?
I do not know, follow up with the town and confirm that. Determination notice from the town to the mayor, we were copied on that, and there's, so it's pending. So we need to get it.
And a financial question, are we expecting a big onslaught of bills that have not been prepared, sent, approved, accounted for, that's going to put Spring Lake in the financial time?
They do have, this is Susan McCullough, they do have some amounts budgeted for legal expenses for the current year, but nothing has been billed so far in fiscal 2022. I think the amount of the expenditures was $2,900 year to date of the total budgeted line item. So is the money budgeted there, whether or not the town attorney's expenditures year to date exceed that, we won't know till we receive it. But there's the money budget.
Just for the record, not about the budget, but so this town has not received an invoice. There's no unpaid invoice or pending invoice since July 1st of last year.
That is my understanding, yes. Yes.
So the bill could be submitted.
It could be submitted, yes.
Okay. Any other board members? Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this March 23rd special meeting of the Public Government Commission regarding the matters of Spring Lake.
State Auditor Beth Wood, so moved.
Motion being made by Alderman Wood, second.
Second. Second.
Thank you. Second being made, any further discussion? Before I gavel out, this is for your planning information. We're anticipating having the LGC meeting in September in Carroll County, but hopefully at the 4-H camp, that conference facility that North Carolina State operates, and slight possibility of doing it in Western North Carolina, possibly in November. And the reason for that is September is Carroll County. The one in November, not when it's too cold, but possibly when students are there, because the chancellor is interested in having students come out and view the Public Government Commission as a way of drawing interested people in the public service. So, just want to let you folks know that. And with that, we've got a motion second. No further discussion. With that, clerk call the roll.
Mr. Tool,
Aye.
thank you, Secretary Kenny,
Aye.
thank you, Mr. Burns,
Aye.
Mr. Butler,
Aye.
thank you, Ms. Harvey,
Aye.
Treasurer Falwell.
Aye. And before you close, I know a lot of people on this call have a long-standing relationship with Senator Linda Baru, Forsyth County. Her service is tomorrow at 11 o'clock. If anybody is in that vicinity. The church is right here on Cloverdale Avenue, right here at Baptist Hospital. If you're sort of visually want to know it's Highland Presbyterian, and that's 11 o'clock tomorrow. I just want to inform those of you who are listening in or on the LGC. We do Senator Giroux, her style was missed yesterday, it's this day, this tomorrow. Thank you. Return.